Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know we try to keep these evergreen, but I just want to say happy holidays to everyone. I have with me very special guest. Jill is here to talk to us about going from being unknown to being seen in a very big way. And Jill is just a powerhouse when it comes to pumping out content about how we can get seen and discovered. I think using the word discovered is an even better way of looking at this because the truth is, we don't all want to be seen by all sorts of random people, but we definitely would like to be seen by our ideal clients and by our target audiences. And of course, Jill is an expert and she knows exactly how to get us to that point where we are being seen in the way that we want to be. We're shining our light in the way that we want it to be. So if you guys have questions, if you guys have comments and you're following along with us in the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, I invite you just go ahead and drop your questions, drop your comments in the chat, and we will see them and hopefully we'll be able to answer them as we go along. Welcome, Jill. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to invite you. Will you share with everybody who you are and what wonderful things you're doing in the world?
Oh, thank you, Devi. It's so good to be here. And I am delighted to share publicity knowledge and excitement with you. Actually, I've been in this wonderful business for close to 30 years now, and I've actually written 4 books, including the book on it, Guerilla Publicity. My latest one is called The Profit of Kindness. And to that end, I've been helping you get your message out. I teach interactive, live, get it done virtual publicity courses. That's really fun. And then I'm really dedicated to helping messengers get their message out. And I've been rocking it for a while, loving being a messenger of messengers.
I love that, being a messenger of messengers. It is a title that I feel is it's so evocative. It really does say exactly what it is that you do. I'm curious though, Jill, how did you arrive in this place? How did you decide that this was what you wanted to make your life's work?
Because like many of you, I took the wrong road. I was in law school and I was going to be an attorney. And I was so excited about that because no one in my family had even graduated college, let alone gone on to advance. So I was going to be that one in the family that was going to finally get educated. And really what I saw about law school was that it was going to be a wonderful opportunity to make a difference and to actually, know how to do that. Except then I got to law school. So here's what happened. I mean, honestly, for my creative mind, which makes me very good at what I do now, it's not great for law school. You need kind of a linear mind. And although I'm very analytical and can, figure out things quickly, law school was definitely not the place for me. So I actually dropped out. But during that first year, I wanted something interesting to do. And so I started in the music business. Now, for me, that was interesting. And I actually ended up in the music business as director of promotion and publicity at several independent record labels. That was exciting. That was a turn in career that actually landed me in truly what my gift is, which is publicity and promotion. And that's really how it started, kind of like I need something else to do. And this is the right thing. But it really, was one of those, I felt I failed at law school moments, but truthfully, what I succeeded at was finding the right place for where I was meant to be.
And I think it's really important that you are sharing with us right now about the fact that you failed at law school. I think it's fantastic because so many of us, we arrive at the thing that is our passion, the thing that our hearts beat for, by going through sort of a circuitous path. Very many of us did not arrive here in a linear way. And it is really something that I think we should all talk about more. I think perhaps some of the things that we don't talk about enough are things that we worry about and stress about when we could really be appreciating that we're not alone. And there's so many people who have been through the exact same thing. So tell me a little bit more about what happened after you left law school to bring you to this point where you have authored all these books and you are the publicity guru, the go-to person.
Thank you. Somebody just the other day called me the publicity queen. I got to go get a tiara.
You better.
So thank you. I'll tell you, so I went through all the music business, got my chops down, because I'll tell you, if you want to learn anything about publicity and perception, the music business is a great place to do that. And that was great training. And then I opened up my own PR agency. I actually had a PR agency for 7 years. I loved it until I didn't, right? Because what happened was I got tapped on the shoulder to actually write Guerilla Publicity. And once I wrote my first book, this is actually the 3rd edition now. Once I actually wrote that book, truthfully, it kind of catapulted me into a whole new stream, which is why I love people to have books. I think it's really a good thing. And then I started speaking and training, and I closed down my PR agency because my heart is really with entrepreneurs. They couldn't afford my big fees. You know what I'm saying? I mean, PR agencies are between $4,000 to $6,000 a month, typically. And I just decided to take all my knowledge from Guerilla Publicity and put it into a publicity crash course. And that is what I've been doing ever since, is teaching these, get or done publicity crash courses. Now they're all on Zoom. It's fantastic. So I think that it's really important to just keep following what shows up, right? So, you got to pay attention to where the clues are. And for me, the clues were, when I stop feeling fulfilled at something, I know there's something else calling me, right? And so that something else became the publicity crash course. That's been wonderful. I speak all over the world. I speak on Zooms. I speak virtually now. I've spoken on 6 continents, and on Tony Robbins' stage, I've been very blessed to speak. So that is all wonderful, right? But I think what's also important is you got to keep watching for where do you need to keep evolving. And I'll tell you, when COVID hit, when the Profit of Kindness came out, God planted a seed in my heart, which was to do kindness circles. And guess what? COVID hit, and I went, now's the moment. Now's the moment. We're on lockdown. We're going to do this. And now that is something that also has been really rising up. We have World Kindness Summits now. I have monthly kindness circles. And it's just been a wonderful community that's growing and growing, over many hundred strong now. And to me, that's very exciting. And I'm still doing, the publicity thing, because here's what I've discovered. Things start tying together, One of the things that started tying together for me was that kind companies get more publicity. And so to me, that's a natural weave in, right? But I just think you got to keep watching for signs, what calls your heart, what's deep for you.
I love this. I think I'm going to be completely honest with you, Jill. We are part of a group together, and I've always seen you in our group, and I've admired you, certainly. But it was when you started talking about the profit of kindness that you came on my radar, because I am all about that. And I embrace anybody who is on that same wavelength. So it really meant a lot to me that you came out with your new book. Really excited to dive deeply into that. The people who are tuning in to our show, they love to get tips from experts, and you are an expert. So for our entrepreneurs who are listening, what would your advice be to them for steps that they can take today in their businesses to grow their publicity?
Absolutely. First thing you got to look at is your message, because here's the thing. You can have a great fill in the blank product, service, right? You can have an excellent way of your commitment to your influence and product. But here's the thing, you got to get a message that rocks. What do I mean? Like, be a problem solver in the marketplace, not just like tooting your product, right? Of course, I want you to toot your product. That's what publicity is. We want people to buy. And what I've seen as publicity absolutely is going to guarantee you that kind of credibility, visibility, impact, influence, profits, and prospects. But here's the thing, you got to be having a great message that matters to others. So one of the things I really highly recommend is take a gander. What's going on in the news, and have it be something like, for instance, anybody I worked with who's been in mental health, transformation, mindset, any coaches in that arena, anybody in that kind of field, psychologists, as well as people who coach. When Simone Biles quit the Olympics, I thought that was an amazing stand on her part, but it also was really a mental health issue. And she said that. Now, anybody I had as clients who I knew, I'm like getting on the phone and I'm like, you got to speak up now in your media because now's your moment. So you got to be watching for now's the moment, right? When is now your moment? It could be beyond just what you think you're promoting. And I want you to use, I like to call it everything you've got. Everything you've got. So I was working with a woman who's a communications coach. We were doing a great story about how to have great communications in your business. And then Black Lives Matter burst onto the media scene. And I said to her, forget everything we're doing. You, as a Black woman, are going to be talking about how to be a strong Black woman in today's world and communicate with confidence. That's what you're going to talk about. That's the story that got her tons of media exposure. I mean, like several a day, so that she could be the profound expert. So I call that use everything you've got. And, Christian clients go to Christian media, Hispanic clients go to Hispanic media. What could you be using that maybe you haven't used before? International Women's Day, Davia, is March 8th. Like, how could we use that for you?
Absolutely. We always have our summits right around that day for that reason. You're so on point with that. Absolutely. So use what you've got. Can you tell us a story? I love the stories that you're telling. They're amazing. Tell us a story about a client who things were probably not going as well as they might have liked in terms of their visibility, and they used what they had, and it made all the difference in the world.
Yes. Well, besides the woman I just told you about, let me tell you another. There's Ryan. Ryan came to me because, frankly, he was starting a new business. He had been running something before, and he was starting an instructional design business. And to be honest, I didn't even know what that was. I'm like, right. But he knew he needed prospects. He knew that he needed visibility, and he knew publicity would be a right way to do that. I said, Ryan, you know what? I don't know what instructional design is, but tell me your story. Ryan told me that he'd been downsized from a corporate job and that, well, he'd been fired. At that time, he had a pregnant wife with their third kid on the way, okay? He had just bought now a big house. He's got a big mortgage payment, a pregnant wife. This isn't exactly a formula for success. I'm like, Ryan, what'd you do? He said, well, I started my own company, and online within 24 hours, he had 7 employees across the Bay Area, in this case, doing instructional design. So I created him into what I like to call a virtual office warrior. Now, you got to get, this was before the pandemic. People weren't quite virtual as much, but he was running a whole business on this. And he actually was, in fact, a pioneer in it. And if you look at the word virtual office warrior, the acronym is VOW. Ryan took a vow never to work in an office again. Do you know that story got him, well, featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Mac Home Journal. Ryan laughed because he goes, I don't even have a Mac, right? It got him featured in the front page of the San Francisco Business Times. Imagine this, you being featured in your local Business Times, or anyone for that matter, your local business journal. And in fact, they used the headline, when fired, you too can vow never to work in an office again. Now, isn't that interesting? His actual web stats went up by 45%. He closed one client because he's Asian American, and we actually translated his article into Chinese, put it into the Chinese Times using everything he's got. Do you know that he got one client for $7,000 out of that one article? Now that's what I'm talking about, right? And it went on and on and on like this. For 9 months, we wrote this story because the wave was so good, so accepting and receiving of his story. And so sometimes you just got to find the right story. In his case, it was not the instructional design story. It was his own story. It was how he recreated his business. That's what was interesting.
I love that what ended up catapulting him was not at all the thing that he does. It's not at all the thing that he's talking about. And you can see that it's really people are going to pick up on things that are interesting to them. And so it's not about what you do, or it's not about you. It's about the audience and what they care about. You've said, and I've been taking notes and dropping, comments in the chat. You said, get a message that rocks. You say, use what you've got. Any other tips for us?
Absolutely. So check out iTunes and look to see, type in one word that is your word. Okay. In my case, it was kindness, or business. If you're in business, type in the word business. What's going to happen is that you will see all of the wonderful podcasts that focus in on business. And then I'm going to recommend to you that you start, frankly, promoting yourself to them. Go out with a great pitch based on a problem, let's just say in business, that you, of course, are the expert to solve. And they, here's the thing. Podcast hosts need guests, and they need a lot of them, and they need to fill content. And so I just want all of you to know that you're the content, you're the expert, you're the people they've been waiting for. And so get that into you, because I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough, or I don't know if I'm ready, or I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, you are ready with wherever you're at in the moment you are. It's perfect. And so we are evolving. Of course, our messages evolve, but one of the things I want you to do is start where you are. Start practicing and getting your chops down. Do some, smaller podcasts. You don't have to do the big ones right away. And what a great opportunity to be in practice.
Awesome. I love that. And I think that there are also a lot of opportunities to find a guest and be a guest on social media. A lot of podcasts have forms that you can just fill in and submit to ask them, hey, would you like to talk about my topic? There are so many opportunities that are available. So that's a really great one that you mentioned. Anything else that you think we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, Google Alerts. I love Google Alerts. Okay, so type in your name for Google Alerts, and type in, because then you want to see when anybody's talking about you, right? And type in again one keyword. So as an example, when The Profit of Kindness came out, I typed in the word kindness into Google Alerts. Well, do you know what I found out? November 13th is World Kindness Day. I didn't know that. I really didn't. So here we go. Now I can orient my publicity to World Kindness Day. We actually just completed our second World Kindness Summit with 150 people registered. I mean, that all came from just putting in the word kindness to Google Alerts. And then it also alerts you to things like, for instance, I don't know if you remember when, let's see, Mrs. Who's the syrup company? Mrs.
Butterworth?
Yeah, and they changed the name, right? They changed the name of her syrup company and Uncle Ben, right? The Uncle Ben's Rice. They changed the name. Well, I got called by a TV studio in Dallas, Texas, who found me, but through, by the way, Google Alerts and different things. And they said, we want you to do an interview in Dallas on Zoom, super easy. I said, great. And I did this great interview, and then I didn't know what happened to it. It was an ABC TV news in Dallas. Well, guess what? The next day, I got a Google alert, Jill Lublin featured on ABC TV. Had I not seen that, or registered for Google alerts, like, imagine the wonderful opportunities that maybe you don't even see when maybe someone mentions you and you don't even know it. This does happen. The other thing I want you to be alerted to is when people are talking about your subject, because if you see that the media starts talking about whatever you're an expert in, you got to jump in and go, hey, pick me, right? I mean, not quite that, but kind of close. And you let them know why to pick you, because you're the expert who solves problems, who gives great solutions. And notice, as I've been talking to you, this is another tip, that I use very simple language, right? I don't dazzle you with my big PR jargon, nor should you dazzle anyone else with your jargon, because you got to talk in 5-year-old language. Keep things really simple and be concise and precise. That'll get you far.
Concise and precise. I love it. Those are some of the things that we should definitely be not doing. Anything else that we should be avoiding as we navigate this PR landscape?
Avoiding in terms of, I would not have a convoluted message. So that's the part about keep it short, right? You don't want to go on and on. You don't want so much explanation that people get lost. We don't care. We just want to know how to fill in the blank, feel better, look better, be happier, have less stress. I mean, think of the main things that people really need in their life. And there's a lot of them right now. And that's what you want to talk to. And the other thing is that to avoid is doing what I call beat the chest publicity, right? In other words, yes, you're going to promote what you do. Absolutely, we want you to promote what you do, but you do it in ways that are elegant, and you do it that you're not like moving into the media going, well, come talk about my consulting practice. They don't care, but they do want to know, what could we do to make our businesses better in this time as we come through the pandemic? What are 3 things, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just want quick, easy tips that are simple. Like, I was working with an abundance coach, and I said to her, she lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. I said to her, pick up the phone. This was New Year's last year. Pick up the phone and tell them you have very simple tips for people to build their abundance, even in a pandemic. So guess what? She was on 2 major Salt Lake City TV stations by picking up the phone, literally, and using that exact pitch. Simple words that got her booked. So here's the thing, my friends, don't overcomplicate this. Sometimes it is as simple as when you hear a story, you start picking up the phone, you call, usually it's the producer of, let's say, your local ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News affiliates, and you just say, hey, who's the producer of the morning show and the news show? And then talk to them. Like, really that simple. I did this recently for my Kindness Summit as well as World Kindness Day, and, just picked up the phone. Then usually you'll follow that up with an email, and they'll ask you to follow it up with an email. But I'm daring you to be a little bold and actually just start pitching, even if it's not perfect right in this moment.
I love that. And I love the idea of, you know what, just be a little bit bold, and it might work. And if it does, it will definitely move you forward in a very outstanding way. That is fantastic. Jill, you would be so surprised, but we're almost out of time. I would love to know, who is your ideal client? Who is the type of person that will be watching this and would really benefit the most from reaching out to you?
Oh, thank you. Coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, and then what I call small business owners. It could be a chiropractor, a real estate person, people who are in service industries. So those are my general, who I serve people.
And when they connect with you, what are the benefits that they get from being a part of Jill Lublin's Guerilla Publicity profit of kindness lifestyle?
Oh, well, first of all, you're going to get continuous great ideas for how to get your name out there. Actually, in my free gift, there's a free publicity masterclass that people love. Live with me, by the way. I'm very big on live stuff. I like, and you'll find that about me. You know, I show up, I'm live with you, I'm helping you right there in the moment. People love that. Not to mention, I'm very well connected, very well resourced, and I love to share generously my connections and resources.
Awesome. It's Free Gift Friday, and you're giving away a free gift to one of our fantastic viewers today. So I invite you, Jill. Can you choose a number between 1 and 20?
7.
And our winner today is Julia Gamble. So Julia is our big winner today. And can you share with Julia what she will be winning?
Well, Julia, you're going to be my guest in the Publicity Crash Course.
Yay!
You are going to be my guest in the Publicity Crash Course. It's on Zoom, it's live, it's interactive with me. We're going to have great fun together, getting your message out.
I am feeling a little bit jealous here of Julia. That is a fantastic gift. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're able to join us today. And I would, of course, there is never enough time to get through all the things that we would love to talk about. So I think there's an opportunity for you to come back. And next time, maybe we can talk a little bit more about your new book, The Profit of Kindness. In the interim, though, how can people reach out to you? What's your website?
Sure. Well, I do have a gift, if I may, for everybody. And that is, and this is how to reach me too. Go to publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. And then check out a wonderful action guide, reach out to me, and come on my free publicity interactive class that I'm inviting you to live in that free gift. Different than Julia's, but fun nonetheless.
I think very many of us will hop on to that. Thank you so much, Jill, for being such a wonderful guest today. Thank you so much for all the amazing work that you're doing in the world. And I look forward to having you on the show again soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching with us today. Special thank you to all our friends watching with us over on Facebook. If you are not as yet a part of the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, firstly, why not? And secondly, just search Ladies Power Lunch on Facebook and put in your application to join us. We're all about being collaborative and supporting each other. And we only have one rule, and that is that we intentionally and in an aligned way support each other. So if you're all about that, that's what we're all about. And I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye, everyone.